I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long, you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you were destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room of our subconscious, our spiritual journey. Whatever it is, I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you. That's right. Welcome to another edition of the Coach's Corner. My name is Marcus Saletta. Surely, as I approach the microphone in the studio, I have my own personal and professional issues, but I believe that the Coach's Corner is all about bringing to the table the wisdoms of the matter of life, the wisdoms that I have incurred as I have journeyed along the path. And I tell you that wisdom is priceless. Today we're going to begin a new series. Don't know how long the series will be, called Your New Economy with Growing Money. It's time for us to kind of pick ourselves up and talk about the new economy. Enough with the old, what happened under this administration and that administration, and how I don't believe that they should have any more unemployment benefits. You know, I mean, come on. It's time right here, right now, to start a new economy in your house with growing money. And we're going to talk about that. First, also, let me thank all of my listeners worldwide. Spreaker, thank you so very much. Shout out to the founders of Spreaker and management. Also, my followers there. Thank you so much for those on Blog Talk Radio. Facebook fans, thank you. Twitter fans, thank you. Those that have been listening on the Block website for the regular programming for SIBN Radio, thank you so very much. Are we ready to get to it? I think we are. All righty. Well, welcome back to the studio desk, if you will, as we begin our new series on your personal new economy. As we move forward, we want to grow our money. Okay. And I'm going to be very brief because I'm going to give you many keys that we're going to use as we build, notice I said build our economy and grow our money. Now I want to say this before I get going on my keys here, that you may be listening to other money experts. This qualifier that I'm going to say, I am not a money expert. Okay, I'm a transition coach, so I'm trying to get you to the finish line. But you may be listening to other money experts, and you may be taking a few of the steps that they advise. But here's what I'm concerned about. Oftentimes we get rid of one thing, but because we don't have something else productive in that spot, the same problem reoccurs. And so I just want to caution you that as you take people's advice, make sure that you are replacing what was with what should be. Okay? There's a lot of talk about getting out of debt, managing debt, and that's well and fine. But this conversation that we're going to have on your economy with growing money is not about debt. It's about production. That if I'm going to grow my money, if I'm going to increase, I have to increase productivity. If I'm going to increase productivity, I have to minimize what is impeding my productivity. Okay, so some of these keys will reflect that. For those of you that are following other debt experts and so forth and so on, that is for managing something that has already been a reality. And as you manage debt consistently, of course, by all means, we become debt free. But I am not talking about that in this series. I am talking simply about the mindset, the paradigm shift of productivity, personal and professional productivity, growing our economy. Now, having said that, let me also say this, that in this economy that we're in now, this is brand new. I wish I had Oliver Adams. If you really want to get your credit together, you want to look up the credit coach. His name is the credit coach, Oliver Adams. Look him up on Facebook. Tell him SIBN Radio sent you. This guy runs some algorithms, can tell you some things about credit that you have never heard. You've never heard. But one of the things that I remember Oliver Adams saying to me, the credit coach saying to me, is that we are in a brand new economy. And those of you that are in your 40s or 50s, 60s, you might have picked up on that. There are some things that we will never, in the United States, in the Western culture at least, return to job-wise. They will never return. Some cities will never recover if they're using the same old platforms that they tried 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, because we are in a new shaping economy. We're in the midst of it right now. You heard the president talk about green jobs. I heard another housing professional or building professional talk about green homes, smart homes. So the things that we're going to see and hear, the things that we have been seeing and hearing, does not reflect anything that we have a reference to. These are new paths, new journeys, new jobs, new perspectives, new money, okay? Even the old heads are rolling their eyes at how rich you can become in this new economy. And by rich, I mean money rich, connectivity rich, venture capitalists willing to invest in your project rich, meaning that, they appear on Shark Tank and make deals, and all of a sudden they're millionaires in a couple of weeks. Why? Because this economy has so many inlets to the ocean of opportunities that those who are stuck in the old traditional mindset, you're gonna be shaken a little bit, because that's not where we are in the Western culture now. And now we have our pitfalls. The central banks, even worldwide, really are printing too much money. The money valuation has declined. I could go on and on about that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a money expert, but we do have our share of problems that we're going to have to inaugurate into some of our planning. As you're driving, you probably notice that there's more police out writing tickets for more minor infractions, only because the municipalities where you live their budget may be very, very short, so they've got to make up that money in a plethora of ways in the name of, quote, keeping our community safe, right? So let's talk about some of the keys to our new economy that grows our money. And some of them I may stop to go through, and some of them I might just mention and move on. First of all, we know, as I just said, we have to change our thinking. There is the old days of going to a 9-to-5 and I am totally secured by my company's mission is over. Your company that you're working for, your industry that you're working in, is faced with competition and new innovation on a daily basis. Now, granted, maybe you may feel secure, but the company doesn't feel secure. That's why it's constantly re-strategizing its overall operations so that it can be efficient and make sure its profitability margins are not in any way, shape, or form infringed upon by the new regulations that may come out of Washington, that by the new regulations that may the new regulations that may come out of Washington, the new demands that may come from the stockholders, the new whatever new admin type policies that would hinder a company's profit. So they're looking at the future quite differently. You're seeing it as just an opt to go and pay your bills. I want to submit to you that we've got to change that paradigm. We've got to change that mindset. No longer are we secure in the workplace. And I'm not talking about the threat to our physical well-being. I'm talking about the threat to our financial well-being. We are not as secure as we think because our companies are faced with daily innovation, daily changes in the rules and the regulations for operations in the U.S., and that's why many of the companies are moving overseas, you see. So if they're not feeling secure, and if they're making changes, and if they're changing tactics, and they're updating strategies, and you're not, and I'm not, I'm just driving around in my little Lexus, or I'm just driving around in my little Dodge Charger, which valuation drops tremendously and which trade-in value has no. I mean, come on. You see where I'm saying? I mean, we've locked ourselves into a paradigm that does not help our futuristic goals, and so, as we build our new economy, we're changing our thought process. We're changing how our perspective and perception has been shaped. You know, perhaps we idolized our grandfather who went to a 9-to-5, and it wasn't as threatened as our jobs and our positions are today. And some of you could testify as to the versatility that you've had to adapt in the workplace in order to maintain your stance at your place of employment. Why? Because changing perceptions, changing perspectives make the difference when an employer is looking to strategize the operations, particularly of a plant or of an office. And so you want to be right there with the upgraded, if you will, mindset, paradigm shift. And then you're not offended. You don't have an attitude because you've moved around. You're asked to do something that you hadn't been asked to do before. You're asked to stay longer, because that's a new thing in the job, in the workplace, is that they're asking for more out of you and paying you less. So, one of the questions is, well, what's the proper way to look at that? When companies are asking more of us, and we are given less pay, how do we handle that? And I can promise you that drama for your mama is not the way. Gossip in the back room about the boss is not the way. You have to shift your paradigm. So that's key number one. Change how you think. Change your pattern. In order to change something, you got to watch it first. You got to know what and how you think. How do you think? How do you think? Do you tend to be more critical? Do you tend to be more cynical? Do you tend to be, full of satire? Do you tend to, be light, happy, and gay? Not talking about the sexual gay, but gay, happy. Do you tend to be easygoing? Do you tend to be, how do you think? What is your thought process about? You have to know that. Key number two is we have to change our skill set. This is a big one. In this new economy we're talking about your new economy, my new economy. We're not talking about the president's new economy. We're not talking about what the Senate's going to pass. We're not talking about what the state is going to pass in the House of Legislature. We're not talking about the city where you dwell. We're talking about your personal economy and your money growth. And really, what we haven't been taught from childhood, perhaps, unless you're rich and well-to-do, you might have been taught this. But really, we work too hard for our money, and our money is not working hard for us. That's really what the problem is. I'll say that again. We're working too hard for the money, and we need our money to work hard for us. That's original thought from the coach. We've got to turn it around, and this is the perfect time to turn it around, but we have some issues we've got to face both personally and professionally in order to get into the understanding, and all you're getting, get understanding about this new economy, and that our money should grow, not because we're working more for it, but because it's working for us. So we've got to change and update our skill set. Now, we have this dynamic and this is, I want to do a side note. We have this dynamic about going to school, and I'm all for going to school. My parents advocated for college education and self-education, so forth and so on. But we got to be careful. We got to be careful that we choose wisely, and that the path that we are on is our path, because school debt is on the rise. I mean, it's probably school debt in the Western country of the United States of America is a little bit over $1 trillion. The debt of student loans alone, you see. And so we got to be careful with that. And I don't want to say too much on that, and perhaps maybe in the future bring on some guests that will speak to that issue. But we've got to make sure the path that we take educationally is our path, because that $60,000, that $50,000, that $40,000, that $100,000, that $150,000 that you got to pay back when you graduate from school, that's going to be all on you. And you can't write that off. You can't dismiss that in a bankruptcy. That is money you have to pay back. So you want to make sure before you sign on that dotted line that the path that you're taking educationally is your path. And furthermore, you want to make sure that that path is giving you, not only helping you retain what you already know, but giving you new skills. I want to say new knowledge, but knowledge is good, but new skills as well. Such as, do you know how to do something, not just do you know something, because we're living in this economy now that requires a lot of new skills, and they all seem to hinder around a specific group. I don't want to get into that now because it would take me too long to break it all down, but they seem to hinder. There's certain skill set groups that the employment markets look to, and social media, internet technology, information technology, just to say the general term for it, is one of those groups. So, changing your skill set could mean learning how to hold your peace. I felt that right there, because now with the new economy, social media is enacted in part of the stratagem that companies are using, part of the strategy that companies are using as they assess who would qualify for their ongoing mission, operationally speaking. You see, who would be a good match for us, who would represent us. And so perhaps for you, one of the skill sets that you might need to develop is learning how to hold your peace and not putting all of your personal problems and business out on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram or wherever you post what you post, and to keep your brand, to start building or looking at yourself as a brand who cannot and should not be embarrassed by the innuendos of a unfortunate accident, incident, drama, whatever the case may be. So, I mean, you see what I'm saying? So don't think too highly on the skill set thought. It's not just going out and getting the bachelor's and the master's and the PhDs. It is also the skill sets that allow you to be branded, where you can be matched with a corporate brand that can say, now this person right here would help us further our goals. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just the educational paper that you're going to need. It's not just the educational paper trail that you're going to need. You're going to also need your personal brand to have been shaped in such a way that it is not an embarrassment to you. Moving on. So your skill set it's got to be, you got to upgrade traditionally and upgrade not in a non-traditional fashion. Also, that was number 2. Number 1 was changing how you think. Number 2 was change your skill set. Now, if you're in school, make the best of it, because you got to pay that money back. If you're studying, make the best of it and enjoy the process. Number 3, keys to building our new economy with growing money is we have to change our risk tolerance. We talked about this in the show, I think, recently, about how people have given up in this new economy, which offers nearly no guarantees. It doesn't offer any guarantees. There's no security in the job place as it was 30 years ago, because the threat of innovation, the creative innovative ways that companies have to compete now. Oh my goodness, there's no security. There's no security. There's not even no security that the plants will stay in America, for that matter. So you have to be willing to take risk, and part of that risk tolerance is evaluating what it is that stops you from moving beyond the comfort zone or the zone of familiarity. What's stopping you? The first thing we holler, I don't know. But you better know, because this is a new economy. The new economy is not just framed by you, by the way. The new economy is here. Prices have gone up. The cost of living is going up. The cost of education is going up. The GDP nationally is going down, or it has gone down in the last several years. The valuation of money has gone down. Of course, the price of precious metals, and if you're an investor, you understand, those things have changed and perhaps gone up. Gold definitely has gone up in value. But you have to understand the framework of this economy, because you're smack dead in the middle of it. I mean, just a ticket today versus a ticket 20 years ago. Today, if you're doing, for instance, 20 miles over the limit in the school zone, that's a $550 ticket versus maybe 20 years ago it might have been $75. So the point is we're in a new economy. We're in a new economy with the housing market as well. So if you're looking to buy a house today, you'd probably get a great deal on a house, but you've got to still have the discipline to have put together your down payment, because unlike before, the housing market is not giving away deals to unqualified people, but you can get a great deal if you qualify, if you caught that. You might have to rewind that and catch that again. All right, so you have to change your risk tolerance. And it seems, though, people that are working in the workplace that have been asked to do more with less, their risk tolerance have had to improve. They've had to increase their risk tolerance because they want to keep their jobs. And so they step out of the familiar and they step out of their comfort zone to do things that are new, to do things that they hadn't done before. Why? Because they realize and understand, I've got to keep my position. And I realize, and if you didn't realize it, now you realize it, that this is a new economy and my money must continue to grow. The way that money grows, to my understanding, is that, I'm not well-to-do or anything like that, but just the way money grows, it has to have momentum. Money, when it gets to a certain plateau, it grows itself. There's nothing you have to do to it. That's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to where we're not going to a 9-to-5, or we're not working for ourselves, quote unquote, but we are working to change the world around us, as the billionaires always say. We're working to change how nations deal with vaccines. We're working to change how students in the Western Hemisphere approach science and math technology from a high school level. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be saying 5, 10, 20 years from now that, we're working for ourselves. We want to be working for causes, national causes, international causes. We want to be well-to-do because we want to make a difference in the world, not because we want more cars and more houses and more bling-bling and make it rain and all this other kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we have to change our risk tolerance. So number 1, change what you're thinking. Number 2, change your skill set. Number 3, change your risk tolerance. Number 4, change your spending habits. And we all have learned to have to tailor that. Change your spending habits. Buy the things that will give you a return on your money. Hold on to your wardrobe a little longer. Take less clothes to the dry cleaners and only take that which really matters to the dry cleaners. And every now and then still give yourself a treat. But change your spending habits. In other words, if we face some of the internal pains that we have, we'll stop some of those shopping sprees. If we'll become more honest about what's ailing us, we'll stop the impulse buying. You see what I'm saying? But we can only change that when we understand how we think. When we are integral from the inside out, when we're not trying to impress, when we're not chasing friends, when we're not trying to be accepted by, group A, group B, group C. You see what I'm saying? The spending habits are connected to our associations. Our associations are connected to our belief systems. Our belief systems are connected to our inner perceptions of who we are and what we have become based on our past actions and past patterns and past behaviors. You see what I'm saying? So you want to move yourself into the place where you're honest enough to know, why do I spend what I spend? And are you in production mode? I don't know if that's a jet flying over us or whatever. If you're hearing a rumble, that might be a plane or a jet or something over the studio. But the point of the matter is, you can't change your spending habits until you change what's bothering you. And there's nothing wrong with treating yourself. You work hard, but that can be a danger too. Because why don't you treat yourself with a new risk factor and maybe take that yoga class, or, burn off the toxins from the job so that you can re-inhale new ideas and concepts regarding the business that you keep saying that you want, but you do nothing but go out and spend the money that could be seed for the dream that you so articulate. I need some help right there. Right? So number 1, change what you think. Number 2, change update your skill set, improve your skill set. Number 3, change your risk tolerance. Number 4, change your spending habits. Number 5, give. I don't know what it is. It's this thing in the air because, you have the reality of debt that you can't give. A closed hand never receives anything, and a philanthropic attitude always is a plus. Those who give on a regular basis see opportunities all the time. Those who don't see less. I'm just going to leave it right there. All right? Let's learn how to give that it may be given to us. Right? That's biblical principle. Right? Let's learn how to sow, if you will. And this is a great strategy if you're really struggling right now. As you know that this economy is new, it's changing. You don't want to count yourself out because you don't have you have debt. You don't want to count yourself out because things, I see that my time is gone. You don't want to count yourself out because things are not lining up like they used to line up, because the traditional model is fastly evading. You may be on the bottom today, and then tomorrow you'll be on top. You see, so whatever happens, you want to make sure that you understand that giving is always just the way forward. It's the way forward. A closed hand has never received anything. And giving is not just money, but money is a part of giving. Because money is the final valuation and final currency that is accepted for a transaction in these United States or in the world or in the earth. But it's also giving your time, your giving of your ear. Stop listening to so much junk and listen to some great stories and become part of great solutions for great people to evolve into great cultures and great communities. So we're talking about it. Your economy, your new economy with growing money. And this was part 1. Join me again for part 2. Thanks so much for listening. Whatever you do, follow us. We have a new website where you can join and support us through your subscription. And that site is www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com. www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com. Whatever you do, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and beyond. Whatever you do, again, take care of yourself. You're listening to the sounds of your lifestyle improvement station.
Hi, Jamaica Chapel, College Park, Georgia, in the house. You're listening to SIBN Radio.
Hi, this is Ted Bones calling from Richmond, Virginia, and you're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Y'all turn it up now.
Hi, this is VJ Washington calling from Atlanta, Georgia. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. So turn it up.
Hi, my name is Sonia Claiborne from East St. Louis, Illinois, by way of Carruthersville, Missouri. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Turn it up.
What's good? It's your boy Joe coming from Snellville, Georgia. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Y'all turn it up.
You're listening to the sounds of your lifestyle improvement station, changing the way we live. SIBN FM, powered by Summit USA TV.